Hello and welcome to United with Alvin. You can always unite with me by liking, subscribing, and commenting in the comment section below. United have finally kicked off the pre-season tour in America, and playing Westham was very good. It was very good for United to play a Premiership team because for past few seasons we've been playing this, China and then Hong Kong teams that do not make us really prepared for or prepare ourselves really well for the Premier League, and playing a series of matches in the United States against Premier League teams is very good. Now let's get to details of the game, and I'm very ecstatic. Sorry for bringing the reaction very late because I couldn't watch the game in time. I had to wait for a replay and watch on my United TV. Now I've got the gist. Now for the full video, now let's go. Now look at my let's get my reaction of the game. The intensity of this game was out of the roof. I said it in my previous game when I was saying certain things I want to see in the game. The intensity was part of it, and the intensity of this game, the intent in which United came into play was very important, and we're able to execute it to the T. I mean, to the T. And the role in which Manuel Ugarte and Kobbie played in that press, in that high press, and narrowing the midfield so that Westham will not be able to penetrate through was very vital. Nowadays people talk about defensive midfielders who will be able to take the ball from the defense, and help build out the play. Ugarte is not a perfect player for that. Let's call a spade a spade. But Ugarte abilities to switch from one player to the other and cover space within a short period of time and win the ball for United is very pivotal. It's reminiscent of N'Golo Kante's peak at Chelsea, and his ability to consistently win the ball for Man United is very good. Anytime we press, Kobbie and Emmanuel Ugarte cover the central midfield, and when anytime an offensive players, let's just say Cunha or Bruno or Højlund, start the press, what Kobbie and Ugarte does it, they cover the next player that is available for the ball. And when Kobbie cover, let's say Kobbie for instance covers the next player available for the ball, what Emmanuel Ugarte does next is to cover the next player in next to the player or the space in which the possibility that the ball will be placed through. And then the manner in which they kept doing it repeatedly is like I see they are in sync to each other. You can see they know what they are doing. And there are a number of times United are not able to consistently produce. And we are always found wanting and when to press, who to cover, and when to cover. But today's game, yesterday's game against Westham, we had the press very spot on. Very spot on. And again, like I said yesterday, the build-up play. The build-up play today was very much improved. Because like I said earlier, you have Delete, the central center back, moved into the midfield as a what? Central midfielder, pairing up with what? Emmanuel Ugarte. And this time around, they form a 4-box, sometimes a square, sometimes more like a trapezium style of way. And the goalkeeper initiates the attack. One thing I noticed about the build-up plays, anytime Westham presses the 4 or any player of any of the Man United players in that trapezium kind of way setup, the goalkeeper intends to go long, because anytime they press this players, there's always a space available behind them, and it's either Kobbie occupy those space to receive the long ball, or Bruno Fernandes occupy those space to receive the long ball. So you can see now the build-up play varies. There's an intent and there's a pattern in which the play is built. Unlike the game against Leeds, we were very much passing the ball to anybody in that trapezium shape, whether the person is free or not. So for us to be able to know when our players are able to peel themselves away from Westham and make themselves available for the ball, gives what variety in how in the manner in which we build out the play. Because once the goalkeeper was able to hit long accurate passes to either Kobbie Mainoo or Bruno Fernandes, West Ham didn't know how to press. And this in turn give us what room to able to build from phase one and have the ball in our possession as long as we can. So the build-up phase, I was very, very much impressed. And one player that also impressed me that when I read social media, people didn't speak highly of him is Amad Diallo. Offensively, he had a kind of off day, but defensively, especially with his one-on-one duels, he won each and every one of them. Energy, and this is the type of wing play we expect when we have a defensive-minded player playing on the wing back. Like with Amad Diallo, who is not known or astute for his defensive ability, for him to put up a shift in that defensive area shows that now the players are bought in. Now the players are willing to play for the coach. And one player also that stood out for me also is Patrick Dogu. He's consistent. He was pest. That's the word I use. He was a pest and a thorn in the flesh for Wan-Bissaka. He won almost every ball against Wan-Bissaka. And he was first on every loose ball that was passed to Wan-Bissaka. And we constantly kept the pressure up the pitch. And this is what we're trying to do. The only caveat to today's game that it was two caveats that I didn't like today. Despite our ball possession, despite our dominance, despite our brilliance of play, there are two things that I didn't like. First of all, is our hesitance to hold the ball for as long as we can. When United have the ball, they are always somehow in a haste to release the ball. Because when we go in offensive mode and there are no spaces, instead of us to what, be patient and circulate the ball among each other to create spaces or create half spaces before we penetrate, we are always in what, hesitating to kick the ball, and this in turn lose the ball. And when you are playing a team, an elite ball possession based team like Arsenal, they will punish you because when you lose the ball, they will make sure it takes a long time for you to get the ball. So because they always have the patience to circulate the ball around them. United have to go develop that patience to circulate the ball around them. And one thing also I didn't like is the lead up to the goal. And I don't know whether it's a tactical situation or it was let's say Maguire who was caught wanted. Because when we closed the gap or press West Ham, I think Todibo did incredible well to pass the ball through. And I was like, wow. So there was a gaping hole between the midfielders pressing and the defense. And because I was thinking all this one guy, it was perfectly executed. Because the only positive I can take from it is that we've seen it early. Or maybe Maguire wasn't attentive to close that gap, because the defense, the three back has to close that gap. There was a lot of space between the midfield and the defense. So it is something we have to watch about. Thank you for staying with me. Next time, I'll give you more details of individuals that I think they did well. So stay tuned next time.